Today I'm back in my little pomegranate. I grew this from seed along with my other ones, so they're all about the same age, but this one is by far the smallest. Probably because it's been growing in this tiny pot pretty much its whole life. But you can clearly see it's very vigorous. And at the end of the last video I just repotted it and it's bounced right back here. I'm just examining it here. There's a few extra shoots that have appeared that are growing in places I don't really want them. I'm just going to remove them now as they have no real use, and to let them grow is only going to cause problems. It's kind of bushy in there and pretty small, so it's kind of hard to see exactly what's going on. I don't want to accidentally cut off the stuff I actually want. So I removed what I could see and I just trimmed everything else back. And after that I was left with this. It's an interesting shape. It sort of looks like it's leaning over to one side. This tree is still very young, so I'm not sure if it will change a lot in the next couple of years and be very different to what it is now, but so far I'm happy enough of it. There's not much going on in May, although if you look closely you can see there are a few shoots that are starting to elongate. In June it's exploded with growth, so of course I just shortened everything back. Every time I prune these long branches they will grow as 2 more shoots, and the tree gets more and more bushy and dense with foliage each time. So it's pretty important to prune. I'm not just keeping the shape, I'm actually forcing it to grow more branches and get an even better shape. This one here is a shoot growing from the inside of the crotch, so it's not needed and it can be removed. It's just resting in July after that prune, but the trunk is looking pretty cool. It's skinny but with some nice movement, which I'm pretty sure happened on its own, or did I wire it? I can't remember. I should probably watch the old videos to remind myself. In August it's ready for another prune. It looks like only a few branches are taken off. That's okay, I just quickly snip them back. There is some growth in September. I guess the shoots I didn't prune in August had a little late push, but it's getting too late now in the season to do any work, so I'll just left them. In October it's starting to shut down for winter. You can see some of the leaves are starting to change. It's a lot more yellow in November. I do like pomegranates, but they don't have the best autumn colours. They're fine, they're just not as impressive as some other species. They sort of fade from green to this kind of yellow and then drop off. If they all kind of switched at once, I think it would look more powerful. But you can't have it all. In December, it's pretty much fully dormant, and I put it in the shed after filming this. And I took it back inside at the end of February. There wasn't too much work needed. Most of the branches were an alright length. It's really just that one long branch and then some smaller bits that you wouldn't even notice are missing. But now it's all ready for spring, so I just have to wait for it to wake up. At the start of March it's still asleep, but it won't take long for them to wake up. And a few days after filming this, the buds really started to swell and they pretty much opened overnight. You'll see in a second they're pretty much open when I go to repot it. So you can see the buds are pretty much open. But let's first look at that moss, it's pretty thick. I removed the moss and it's really stuck on there. For not having any roots, it really can grip the soil very well. There's some moss growing on the trunk and that's never good, so I just used an old toothbrush to get rid of that. Then it came out extremely easy from the pot. This pot is a good shape, it just kind of slips right out. So it's probably helped by the fact that it's a solid block of roots as well. And this is going to take a while to rake out. But after raking it all, I was left with this. It's not bad, it's pretty compact, but I guess it is a tiny tree in a tiny pot, so it's never exactly going to be a massive root ball. It actually didn't need much work, just a trim really. I just shortened everything back and tied it up and that was about it. I then just pot it up in the same pot. I've said before it's maybe a bit too small for it, but I think I can get away with it for another year before changing it. I normally don't show this part when I'm repotting as it's boring, but it's important to work the soil into the roots. I'm just using a bit of wire here and wiggling it around to get the soil into all the gaps. When you have a tiny root ball like this, it's not easy for the soil to get in between the roots on its own, so you have to make sure you work it in there. Otherwise there's going to be parts of the roots that are not touching the soil and they can remain dry and basically die, which is going to be very bad for a little tree like this. So you just have to make sure you work the soil in properly, even though it's the most boring thing ever. And here we are now, where it's exploded with growth. So hopefully it has a good season this year. Thanks for watching, see you next time.